Welcome to Universal Consciousness. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the soul versus spirit, understanding what the spirit is and what the soul is, and every fundamental aspect of its nature. This is a very intriguing topic. They do differ a little, but it's always good to be aware what they mean by each terminology. We understand that our soul speaks to us within the inner realms of reality, and it's the same relation that you experience with your own mind, heart, will, and imagination. It also includes your desires, passions, and dreams. However, your spirit is the source we understand for life, higher self, and it's the character that's in relation to what we also call God. Now, as we move forward with this topic, we like to cover several traits of each individually so we can grasp a better understanding what is spirit and what is soul. Now, the human infinite potential it's derived from the spirit, and we understand that the soul is per se imprisoned in a limited timeline as we call body. This is also a controlled vehicle, and it's given a rational mind so that the neutral system of life is influenced by the neural system of the mind, and this can be identified with the hologram to which it was projected by metal material. The body with a neural interface as technology, we can call it the soul is the body of the spirit, and the emotions lie within the soul, and the spirit is the divinity that you are. The spirit is something like the direct emanation of source, and the soul it's entangled at the same time as it imprints in the body. However, the spirit creates through the body, and therefore we have the resemblance of the soul. Now, as consciousness reincarnates, it can transcend itself to another state of being. So, what do we understand for spirit once we look up the etymology? Spirit comes from the Latin and it means breath. Soul, as the Latin version of it is alma, it is also meaning breath. So we can see where it's all going as to the breath of life. Now, according to the belief systems and perceptions of each religion that dominates every fragmented particle, we can tell you that there are several understandings from the ancestral path. As we decode this topic, we'll tell you what the soul is in a fractal plane, or what the spirit can tend to be from source and how it manifests through the body, as we call it the astral shell. The soul can live where it wants and experiment its own reality at will, although others will tell you that you're going to be consistent in your past lives based on your beliefs. The soul is a frequency that is connected to the implant network of manipulative beings in other dimensions. Now, the spirit is the source that is best at its evolution, that dwells within you, as we call higher self or God. It is the fractal of the source that is completing through the infinite and inhabits what you allow through the soul to inhabit. People themselves can be carried away by manipulative influences through the mind at coherence or the true power if they're being negative from the lower realms, not accepting the influence of the soul through the higher realms of consciousness, and this is where your body's in control. However, when spirit or soul is in control, the mind will be number one priority because it's interconnected in coherence directly from the spirit realm with the self and its environment. Soul is a field of electrons that stores information through your past lives per se. Now, this is the knowledge that we experience, such as love, love, addictions, happiness, suffering, etc. However, the spirit is what makes the living soul move and learn through its evolution. Spirit is superior to soul. The spirit is the breath as you understand for life. It is the source of energy of the body. Now, the soul, formerly named apospasma, Theos, the particle of God, it is given the movement to the body. It is given the persona or character per se, and yet it increases through strength and spiritual psyche at different levels of the soul consciousness. Let's keep in mind now, when we speak in scientific terms, spirit is energy, because what moves everything is energy, and that is spirit. Soul life would be understood for consciousness as to the strength of power. We are a source of energy. We must understand this at all time. And everything we're decoding here, body, mind, spirit, is all at once. It's an entanglement. Therefore, we are united by the primordial creative eternal source. We are energy beings that are having earthly experience. We are attracted to this hologram to have this earthly experience. After all this will be explained, you will get a bigger aspect of understanding for everything. And for that moment of being, you will be definitely evolving into higher states of consciousness. By accepting this topic, your mind will create neural connections as to where it will compute higher realms of understanding through consciousness. The body is the matter. It is the same energy at a dense state or slower vibration. And the mental body is the spirit. The mental body is to be understood as the psyche in the physical plane. However, the mind is a channel of information being downloaded. Now, the spirit is what unites the mind with the energy source. This is the action of the willpower of creation. Therefore, the spirit, in conjunction with the body, becomes a soul. The soul is the fraction of the energy that emanates from the primal source. It is the body. For its evolution, it is dominated by energy through vibration. The spirit is the continuous remnant, and it is what helps transcend and free the self from its condition to find the way back. The soul lasts a lifetime. The spirit is eternal. The soul lives once the spirit accompanies it through the incarnations. Worlds made by man can grasp different concepts and change according to religion, because this is all based on belief systems due to cultures at different timelines, and other is spirit. What these cultures bring to the board as through the ancestral path is their own interaction with that energy we call source at their timeline. The universal neural network is at all times influencing the planet through the solar system, and the galaxy has its own consciousness. Therefore, everything is being evolved at its own pace through its own purpose. Everything is mind. Therefore, the spirit and its creation through the cells are in perfect harmony, and it is evolving at its own will. The spirit is the unity. It is what we share. It's what connects us. It is the source through the soul, and it allows the body to be connected at all times to spirit. The human is the infinite potential of spirit. Spirit is the active energy, concentrated at a certain point, molded through the mind and through the spark of the soul that it gives life. Therefore, this will allow you to be united with the whole at all times. This is why we always saying that we are all one. For example, what we understand for the Holy Spirit through different passed down cultures is the purest state of the spirit, which is energy. It is an expression of the sanctified energy expressed through the mind, and there is a human spirit that is imprisoned by the internal from past lives experiences, limiting the thoughts through the soul. Therefore, it is eminent that we purify this concept of understanding so we can remove all negative aspects through the non-judgment application. But it cannot be expressed through itself. Once you try to take control, it's the fact that you're influenced. Once you do not take control or you do not judge what's in front of you, it is the higher aspect of the self influencing the soul. Therefore, this will allow spirit to do evolution as it's supposed to. Now, the spirit is the consciousness of our inner wisdom. This is working on its own at all times. And the soul is the immortal and individual part that makes the barrier from the hologram avatar as a living being. It is our true identity, the eternal spirit and the unalterable source of soul that is at all times interacting with the outer realm from the inner realm. We are all part of a universal essence. It doesn't matter what you call it, just be aware that you are that you are. This is why we are all part of what we understand God, source, universe. The only thing that's finite is the body, that is the vehicle for this experience that we have chosen to evolve as a soul. There are no answers, there is only the answer. In fact, all the answers are perfect at their own being because it's the fractal part of reality that's expressing itself through the answer from the mind. However, the answer cannot be from the mind. The mind is a multiplicity. The mind has all the answers. However, it will always ask more answers, more questions, but not the answer. The answer is a state of mind. This is not a verbal reply. It can be felt, but it cannot be reduced to knowledge. The more you ask, the more you get away from the question or the answer is by trying to figure out what is the unknown. You can know, but you can't say it. You can feel it. It is the most intimate place within the being. It is like seeing the fire and not touching the flame. It is the light that simply illuminates your exterior realm from the interior aspect. And that interior is what you understand for soul. It's like the person of the personality. Science does not recognize the word spirit as such term. However, if you can understand what source is through the fact that energy is everything, then you will correlate with what science understands for energy. And that is what we are. We're spirit energy. And that's what we are. Spirit / energy. The energy is the active part, the masculine, the creation, the one that creates to record. The soul will be the experience of what's being created through the passive state that allows to create. That is the result of manifestation. And the whole is the process summed up by the word or the action will. The will is what we can see as the universal harmonic dance influences creation. Everything is linked, passing at all times. It cannot be separated. Therefore, understand that energy is light and light is information that travels in space, creation. Otherwise, we can't say anything about it because everything that's being influenced or downloaded is through the consciousness as it travels through its vehicle, which is time. Consciousness can only be manifested through time. And although we know this, it also becomes unexisted. And although we know that it does not exist, what does exist are clocks. We are creating as the consciousness evolves itself within time-space. Each one of its own process of fractal characters is doing the will of spirit through soul. This is why we cannot give you the right answer because we are limited by the same intellect. However, if you are in destiny, in alignment with your mind, spirit, body, you will understand and you'll be in resonance as this resonates through your intuitive meditation. And for now, this is the best we can do. We are all channeling information and we all are the good answer to the primal source that is being created by consciousness. The spirit finds its own consciousness through the unconscious. You are the soul in the conscious. And eventually your consciousness will be conscious to your own unconscious. And this is where you'll be falling under the alignment and the alignment aspect of mind, body. This is what we understand for enlightenment. Now, as you in this process, exploring the deeper meanings of realization and existence, you cannot lose the sense of humor. And keep in mind that the most important aspect of this virtual reality is to enjoy the trip as you chose to live out this experience. If you're suffering for any reason, it's because you're not understanding or you're not being aligned through destiny or mind-body. Enjoy your time here. It is the most important thing. And find what resonates through your intuitive meditations, through your own resonance. This will keep you in harmony as you develop a higher aspect of understanding what is body, spirit, and soul. As we wrap up this episode, we really hope you enjoyed this topic of spirit body and soul body. For a better understanding in your evolution, please hit that subscribe and like button for more content of our ancestral path.